I've wanted to buy into the Diontae Johnson hype. I have, because the idea that they could find a second wide receiver, and they're not going to play a lot of like 3 receiver sets like maybe they did last year, but the idea they could find a complementary receiver to Jerry Jeudy would go so far to help whoever is at quarterback. And every time I go to get excited about it, JP, I do have to pump the brakes because he was a clown in winning situations time after time.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh ran him off, Baltimore ran him off while trying to compete for a championship, and then the Texans ran him off. I don't know. It's just very hard for me to see this guy in this context just be good for this long and be able to pay dividends for the Browns.
All right, so I like that we see it in a very similar way. I'm also very skeptical. It's encouraging that the past 3 or 4 days have been all focused on how he's just been balling out and has been great. But I have so much reservations about it lasting. I also feel like the type of thing that maybe he plays for like 4 or 5 weeks and continues to show that he's really, really good, and we have this into the regular season. But at any point, something can just happen with him. Like that's who we're dealing with here. He is that much of a wild card of sorts that I can't rely on someone like that. That's why I didn't like when they signed him to begin with. But people do. They change when they realize that there's like this is the only option they have. And he was very vocal about that just a few weeks back about the Browns being the only team that was interested in his services. So maybe it's enough to have him shape up. But I have a hard time buying in.
I think his only chance is Joe Flacco. If it's Dillon Gabriel, a young quarterback trying to figure it out, or if it's Shedeur, or God forbid it's Kenny Pickett.
Well, so he has past success with Pickett. That's the only difference there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the success he had was in a much better situation. I mean, I think I have no idea how, like, if you're a I have no idea how he would have patience with Kenny here in this context. Like Flacco, at least, you can spin the. Look at the Njoku success, the back half of 2023. The same, Jerry Jeudy has never had a guy with the kind of arm strength and ability to sling it the way Joe Flacco can.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see how Deontay is going to have any success if not for Joe Flacco. And I still think, I view this as like the short-term thing. Like, to me, this is a value play. It's not, listen, if he's surprised, the best case scenario, I guess, in the Browns thing is, well, but if we play well, we win some games, maybe he helps, steal a couple wins for us, right?
Right.
I think the most likely thing is he plays well, your quarterback situation's in flux for most of the season, and maybe at the deadline, you actually get like a decent asset for him. And I'm
thinking about shopping him already.
Oh, yeah.
What are we talking? Are we talking like Amari Cooper to the Bills for a 3rd-round pick? Are we talking that type of deal?
I mean, if you
turn him around and make him a 3rd-round pick, that's like the steal of the century.
A 4th-round pick is the steal of a century.
Well,
if you're going for a quarterback this year?
Yeah, that'd be interesting if he started off at really, it looked like he was formidable, and then they just kind of tossed him to the side like that. I didn't envision that.
So maybe here's the other way I think about it. To me, there's like this clock that is ticking with Deontay. I don't know how happy anyone can be in a scenario where you're a wide receiver with limited quarterback play and you're not going to be winning. So maybe I'm thinking about already trading him at the deadline because it's like, hey, if you get a production by week 10 and everybody's always desperate for wide receivers, get an asset for him, because if he's here after that, and you start to slide, some sort of backslide downhill.
Yeah, which is always on the table with him. That's the part I'm scared the most of.
If I'm Kevin Stefanski, that's something you can't have happen. Because when a guy like that, we saw it with Odell Beckham Jr., when a guy who has a diva kind of mentality, and that's kind of the thought on Diontae. I don't know the kid. He's got a chance to do something different here to change it.
Quit in a game last year. It's not like you're not speaking out of pocket.
But we didn't see it firsthand. I was being way too precious with it. So fair point. He quit on a team, multiple teams. But
you're in the game now, Deontay. He's like, I don't want to go in.
If you're Kevin Stefanski, the number one thing you can't do, the most important thing you can't do for your long-term health and prosperity as the Browns head coach is you can't lose the locker room. A guy like that who isn't traded at the deadline, if he's still here, if he becomes a malcontent because the excessive losing could really hurt Kevin's standing and hurt that locker room.
I know. I wonder, and this is where I give him more of the benefit of the doubt than I ever should. I just wonder if that realization that this was his last straw, last opportunity, Maybe it's just starting to click for him. It just sucks that it takes him until he's 29 to try to be able to figure it out. But maybe he realized I'm not the superstar I once thought I was going to be when I became a Pro Bowler. It hasn't materialized the way I thought it would, and nobody else in the NFL wanted me outside of the Browns. So I have to get all my ducks in a row, so to speak, and figure this thing out. But he's looked really good. That's the encouraging part, that he's looked like the talent that we once saw him have 4 or 5 years ago. He's looked like that in camp these days.
But I think the problem is, how long does that last?
I know.
And here's the other thing, because there's the cynicism from the Deontay side of things, right? And then there's the cynicism of the Browns have had a lot of success in a lot of different ways. Helping these guys get back to where they need to be has not been. I mean, Jadeveon is really the one, or they've had one or two guys, but most of them it's been Perrion, and most of them it's been Deshaun. Most of it's been guys who have come in here and troubled. Oh, you can rebuild your career, and then they don't. And even with Jadeveon,
yeah, no, that's fair.
Jadeveon had one season, they're like, we must pay this man for one more year, and then he became a pain in the Badinsky. I just really struggle with this, and it's like playing with mercury. If this wasn't a winning situation, if this was Kansas City, I would probably give the kid a chance of as a wake up call. I needed that. We're going to go out and win. Winning cures all.
Yeah, I mean, how many Chiefs receivers have we seen in recent years be on their last life, go to the Chiefs, and then all of a sudden Mahomes has them in a good spot?
But because I can't guarantee winning, or because I don't even know I can guarantee competitiveness for most of the season, and I don't even know who's going to be the starting quarterback and how long they'll be the starting quarterback, I really worry that we're just camp hyping it because it's easy to look good right now. It's really hard to keep that momentum going if you're a mercurial personality and the team isn't good.
Yeah, there's no denying it. If you were to have me bet whether this works out or doesn't work out, I'm still on the side of it doesn't work out. But it has been encouraging. And listen, the Browns needed someone to step up. The Browns needed something to happen within the wide receiver room, because right now, I think NFL.com had it as the 32nd best, or was it PFF? One of the sites had it as the absolute dead last wide receiver room in the entire NFL. That needs to start to get better.
See, if I'm betting on camp hype for wide receivers, this kid out of Kent State. After I saw him the multiple times, that kid is fast as hell.
The one Coach Riz talks up all the time.
He is, yeah, and he's a little bit bigger than you think, because he looks slight, and then you watch him move, and you're like, ooh, he's stronger than you think.
Shedeur has made a kid named Gage look like Travis Hunter. We've had quite a few little developments.
By the
way,
Gage isn't even the weirdest part of that kid's name.
And then there's Salmonella. There's all sorts of good guys out there.
Yeah, but no, I'm big on Luke Floria.
It seems like everybody is. It seems like everyone. How many? I thought Phelps made this point earlier, and I thought it was a good one. How many 5'8" wide receivers can we have on this roster? All these guys are so tiny. They're all so tiny. It's when I was at camp the other day.
Sounds like Dustin going through his Instagram.
When I was at camp the other day, I was like, I can't believe I should have played.
All so tiny.
I had a chance to play in the NFL, I guess, at 6'2". I never knew I could have made it.
Yeah, that was.
I'm taller than 80% of this team right now.
I think it was the athleticism.
How
that
are
hurt
we?
you.
Yeah, no, it did. It did. By the way, good move by a couple different players, including Cam Mitchell, to purposely set up the ball machine right in front of the media and just do all your work right there, because then you leave and you're like, man, Cam Mitchell has some hands, doesn't he? That guy didn't drop a ball out of 100, and you just become impressed. It's very easy.
New nickel corner.
It's very easy. I watch him take 100 balls and he didn't drop one, and I'm like, he's got hands. This guy's got hands.
A lot of camp hype on Diontae Johnson. Are you taking the camp hype with him seriously? I don't think there's, until you get through the end of this season and he balls out, I don't think I'm taking it seriously. He can get in there five games, have 5 great games, and I'm still going to be a bit cynical until I see it for a full season. I mean, we went pretty hard at the idea of Dillon Gabriel starting yesterday. You were kind of nonplussed by it. I was trying to prepare you for the idea that although I have no belief in the kid as a starter, I think they are trying to get him ready as a starter.
I remain nonplussed, by the way.
And
we have not moved off of that. I need to make that abundantly clear.
I don't know anyone has been as hard in the paint as a show individually than you and I have both been on Dillon. And this is, by the way, this was pre him being drafted by the Browns.
That's right. Yeah.
He's a nice college quarterback. I thought Jason White was
college quarterback.
Josh Heupel, nice college quarterback. Didn't think it was an NFL quarterback.
And it's nothing personal or anything like that. It really isn't. It's just, I just don't believe you can be that short and have success in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's that's the base of that is that.
And listen, what was the base of my argument about why Shedeur shouldn't have been the second pick overall? It's physical talent. And so they took a guy at 92 who I think is less physically talented than the guy who I didn't think was talented enough to be a franchise quarterback, and hence not the number 2 quarterback, the number 2 pick in the draft. So it's interesting because we've had our take on Dillon Gabriel. Well, Jake Volnick last night, maybe it's a rebuttal. I don't know. I don't think he put our names on it, but he pushed. I was
driving
back
home, and it felt like he was talking to you and me personally.
It felt like he's pushing back on the Dillon anger. I don't know. I was trying to do something clever there. Here's Jake.
I am excited for Shedeur. Like, him going against the first team defense today was a really good sign. And I do still have high hopes that he can be potentially the quarterback of the future. I also don't need to put down Dillon Gabriel to do that. I don't need to look, and I'm going through and sifting through just negative comment after negative comment on Dillon Gabriel. It's confusing more than anything. As a franchise that's looking for a quarterback, you're out here saying that, oh, well, early on, they're picking one over the other, and now I'm upset. You don't have a reason to be. You want to see the 2 rookies play. I just don't really think it matters what order I see them play in. I just want to see them play.
Your rebuttal?
I don't have to like Dillon Gabriel. I think it's wild that we have to like every quarterback. This is almost like our you have to love every sport conversation. It's kind of like a cousin of that. I don't, just because you wear a Browns uniform doesn't mean I have to. My only obligation is to tell you guys what I think about a player.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't think a player is any good, it'd be disingenuous if I was like, oh, I need to all of a sudden make Dillon Gabriel be 6'5" and better at football. I can't do that. That's on him. Show me that you can beat the idea that outside of Russell Wilson, we've never had someone be that short and be successful at quarterback in the NFL. Like, that's on you. When you do that, I'll start to come over. When you start to win games for the Browns, I'll start to come over. But until you can beat those charges, it's up against you to show me that you can do the job. I don't have to love you right out of the gate.
Yeah, I think there's this idea of, like, Dillon's here, so I root for him to work out. Even more so because I'm annoyed that he was taken. But I think this, like, he was the one guy in the draft that didn't see it with. Like, Will Howard has physical tools that even though he was a 6th-round pick, I was like, oh, yeah, I kind of get it. Quinn Ewers and who he was as his second to last year in college as opposed to his last year in college, I kind of got it.
Yeah.
Shedeur, to some degree, at some point in the draft, they said, well, maybe somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd round I'd take him, right? I got it. With Dillon, like, there is just a minimum, and this is going to say I'm a minimum bar to pass. You must be this tall to ride this ride.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. There's just, and here's the thing, like, it's not just the height. There's nothing that when you watch him, he's not a remarkable asset in any other way other than intangibles, which sometimes guys, bank on that. But like I heard the Tom Brady comparison from somebody on the not on the station, a caller, and I'm like, yeah, Tom Brady was like 6'2", 6'3".
What is possibly even the Tom Brady comparison? Just the idea that
they built off intangibles because Tom was slow at Michigan.
Well, that's just dumb then. Okay, all right. Yeah. I didn't know how dumb it was. I was trying to see how dumb it was.
Okay, he's not a 1st rounder, and he made it because of his processing power. I think is the but
this
still,
processing power, things that we can't, and you say intangibles for a reason because we can't truly see them.
We can't tange them.
We can't tange them. If I hear one more thing from the Browns about this processing power, I'm going to vomit. But here's the problem I have is that it would be
like a computer.
It would be so disingenuous.
You didn't vomit.
Of me or Nick to have told you throughout Dillon Gabriel's entire college career. We played 6 seasons, by the way. And then all throughout, more importantly, the last year he was there in Oregon. And then all throughout in the draft process where we basically ignored him because he was an afterthought. And then for him to be drafted to the Browns and be like, oh, no, I see it now. After 7 practices? I see it now?
Oh, and by the way.
No, that's not how this works.
By the way.
You'd never believe a thing we say if we came out here and said all of a sudden, because he's in a Browns uniform, we like him.
And the Browns are treating them differently and affording Dillon a quicker path to despite the fact that Dillon isn't as physically talented as Shedeur. So the Browns have not made it easy on Dillon Gabriel. Like, I think Jake's quarrel is really with the Browns. If you really wanted someone to give Dillon Gabriel a fair shot, you never should have taken Shedeur Sanders. Oh, and then you never should have been like, all 4 guys have a shot at the quarterback position. Except you, Shedeur, where you say all 4 guys have a chance, and then the more popular rookie quarterback is the one guy excluded from the conversation. So I actually understand. Listen, have I been fair to Dillon? No, I've not given him a fair chance. Why? Because I've watched him play, and a butt ton in college.
Unfortunately for
and
Dillon
I
Gabriel,
don't buy into it.
I have a cable subscription. Unfortunately for him, we watched him play. And it would just be, you don't want the sports radio host in your life that after 7 practices would turn around, and Jake didn't do this, but would turn around and say now all of a sudden I root for Dillon Gabriel and I think he's going to be something.
I mean,
that would be the funniest thing we could possibly do.
There are plenty of guys who will flip-flop and tell you how much they've loved Dillon Gabriel since way back at Central Florida. There's plenty of guys in this business that do that and that we call out for and make fun of sometimes too. But no, it's like, so yes, it's unfair. Well, okay, it's unfair from the standpoint of I'm not sitting and going, I see him as a franchise quarterback. I think it's more, I'm not going to go there. I think
I want you to go there.
No, because
I'd really appreciate it if you went there.
I think Jake is right in the standpoint of I haven't given him a chance to be better than who I think he is.
No, but he's got to earn that.
Yes, exactly.
That's the point. He's got to earn that. 7 practices is not going to do that. Play 4 or 5 actual NFL games and look like a real quarterback, and then we'll have a different discussion.
And by the way, when we say, or if you say, Shedeur's not been given a real chance to win this job and you don't like that, well, that's because you believe in Shedeur.
Right.
So when people then come back at you and go, he's a 5th round pick, like, leave it alone. It's like, all right, well, that's kind of the counter to what we're talking about here. Like, you can't go at, let's say, Peterlin for his shahiving and his supporting because he believes in the prospect. And then when Peterlin goes, okay, yeah, Dillon's too small, Dillon's too this, Dillon's too that, then go, oh, but the Browns like him. Who gives a rip? Like a lot of players that I think suck. They've liked a lot of players that I think
they've done. As I said yesterday, they've done a lot of things in the previous couple years that are nowhere close to how I think football should be done.
So if the opinion here is, well, Shedeur stinks until proven otherwise, yeah, I actually probably agree with that. So does the 3rd round pick, who nobody else in pundits, analysts, teams had as the 92nd pick in the draft.
I mean, he is one of these players, and Shedeur goes in this camp as well for the other direction, but he's one of these players after he was taken in the 3rd round after a 6th, 7th round projection that our buddy Joe DeLeon is like, I have to reevaluate how we do this. Mm-hmm. Our whole systems, our processes of evaluating these guys they're off based off of what happened with Dillon Gabriel and going as high as he did.
And by the way, my rebuttal to Joe at the time No, he has to do something before you go, well, how do I look at these quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
And listen, in fairness, we have stumped for so many of the drafty. Oh, I think Colt McCoy can be the guy. Like, part of this is listen, when I watched Colt play at Texas, I remember thinking, man, he's going to be a great backup because he doesn't have a great arm. And then he got drafted by the Browns, and I did what I think some people are doing, which is, they like him. And, maybe more of a West Coast system, maybe more of the Tom Brady system. You can hide the arm. I've talked myself into too many quarterbacks. They're a 3rd rounder. They're a 5th rounder. I hope one of them works out. I'm not rooting for either to fail, so I'll be right.
We're not rooting for anyone to fail.
If anything, I'm rooting to be able to say I was wrong about that. It's just,
of course we are. In many ways, yes, of course we are. Because if he ends up being a franchise quarterback, great. I feel like the odds of him being a franchise quarterback, 0.1%.
Now,
like it's about as tiny as it gets, but just be an adult about the conversation. That's all I'm asking. Like, the idea that we have to give everyone a fair shake, that's not how adults operate. You don't have to give everyone a fair shake. In this circumstance, he has to prove it to us more than we just have to, hey, yes, we believe in you, Dillon. No, that's not how this works.
So I agree that we're not being fair on Dillon, but I agree with you that I don't think we have to be fair if we don't like the prospect. The one thing I will sign up 100% for with what Jake was saying is the best case scenario is I run one rookie right into another rookie, and that's my 17 games.
I'd love it. If like legitimately, if it goes Dillon for the first 7 or 8 weeks and then into Shedeur and Shedeur gets the rest of the way, you will not hear me complain about that setup in the slightest bit. I do think it's funny that we're already talking as if the first rookie that goes would just be taken and the job removed from him and gone to the second rookie, but we can have that conversation and that part of it a different time.